G'day, hi and welcome. Calm blue ocean. I'm in my tranquil place. No, I'm not. Grrr. All right. Okay. I got to show you the ultimate stump of doom. But before I show you the ultimate stump of doom, scratching back of my car, let's talk about poor old friend here. This is a CS3900, a 39cc Echo chainsaw. I got this after one of my clients passed away about a year or so after I still work for the widow, and she was like, Rad, you might as well take the chainsaw, because like at 70 some odd years old, she goes, I'm never ever going to start one of these things. She's terrified of these things. Like most people, like they're terrified of chainsaws. Now, this chain is the original chain from probably the 1990s. And I've sharpened it many times. It's actually still got a little bit, but it is rough. It is very rough. Why is it rough, you ask? Well, let me show you. Happy face. Calm blue ocean. No stress. No traumatic memories whatsoever. Anyway, I'll show you. This thing. All right, guys, let me show you what has happened. All summer, this poor saw, Mini Beast, he kept throwing the trigger. He was fantastic last year, but I think that the trigger arm wasn't the right one to begin with, and it disconnects, so I can't rely on it. Which, other than that, it's a fantastic little saw. But even that, the chain on that thing was getting pretty chewed up. Cutting close to the ground, cutting near fences, hitting the fences, hitting like freaking pieces of steel in the ground. You name it. But what really gets you is when you're... This is a Manitoba maple. And this thing, this is the base of it. This wood is like hard as a rock. And you can see how many times I've trimmed this thing down. And I bet you if I left this long enough, something would grow out of it. I kid you not. But what grew into it, as you can see, is this fence. And I've been doing a fence for a client, and it's just been a nightmare trying to cut through this thing. This thing got binded up on this stuff about well, you can see where I kind of, you know, I did cut it with the pliers too, but you can see where it's got pulled and mangled. It was just so wrong. And that kind of did in that chain. And I thought, that's it, it's toast. But believe it or not, I was able to sharpen it, and it lasted a whole day cutting. Mind you, it doesn't cut straight. It just, I can't, I'm good at sharpening a chain, but I'm not that good. You know, but there's still lots of tooth left on there. But I wore out the proper file for it, so I'm using a file that's too big. So, like, the chain's done anyway, so I gotta see what I could do with it. If I could just get the rest of this stump out, I'd be happy for that for my chainsawing for the season. So hats off to this. But this is the kind of stuff I work on, guys. Like, it is just brutal. That's why you always got to keep yourself what I call a Murphy chain. Like a chain like this, sharpen it up until it breaks. You know what I mean? Like, just keep using it. And just, you know, like, you can't really cut anything over 6-inch with that. It'll just, you know, like, I try to get it to come back, but it's just that it's so far gone that you know, there'd be no tooth left on it if I could sharpen it that much. But this is the kind of stuff I do all the time, is stuff near fences and stuff like that. So you do have to have a chain for that. It hasn't really wrecked my bar. My bar is still pretty good. I trim down the bar, smooth down the bar there pretty much every other... Like, if I cut for a day with it, I'll definitely smooth down the bar. I am getting a little bit bad here, but not bad enough. Like, there's no real lip there. So it still cuts pretty good. It's just, it runs great, all that. But this stuff is just killer. So you need a saw just for that. That's what Mini Beast was well, that's what old the tree tangerine. Let's go visit the tree tangerine. We haven't seen the tree tangerine in a long time. That's my dad took it with him. You know. Oh no, the tree tangerine's sitting on the ground there. I do miss this little saw. No, that's not the tree. Is it the tree tangerine? No, that's the new one. I got to show you that one too. Yeah, the old tree tangerine. My dad loves this saw. I'm so happy he loves it. This was a great little saw. It does need a few things like a seal. It runs good. It is a very finicky saw, but I think it's just because a few things. But I got to show you that other thing too, that Royco or whatever the heck that thing is that my dad bought. And then I got 2 other saws I got to show you from a client. You probably kind of guess what that is. And there's another one under there. There's another saw in there. There's 2 saws in there. Yeah, I made a mess over here too. Where's my other whippersnipper? Oh, it's over there. So I'm in my slow down part of the season. So before the snow flies, I'm going to be doing like Operation Carburetor, where every carburetor, I'm even going to try, I don't know where it is. It's in there somewhere, that top handle thing. I just haven't had a time. I just got to make a gasket for that carb, put it back together, see how well it runs, and a fuel line on the top handle still, the 09 or whatever it is, unless my dad tossed it out on me. Maybe he did. I don't know. Oh no, it's sitting there in the bucket. So I just haven't had a time to put this saw back together, but it almost looks like it was new. It was just that the fuel line was rotted off of it. And the carburetor was gummed up. I took it right apart, and I have to make a gasket for it. So I have the gasket material. It's a little bit thick, but it'll do. Then I started thinking, I bet you that's what's wrong with Ninja Shark and Sasquatch. So I haven't gotten rid of those 2 saws yet. And if I can get those 2 saws running again and running, like they run, but they don't run, they bog out, and I can't figure out why they're bogging out. And I don't think it's the fuel lines. I think what it is there's a little mesh screen in the carburetors that gets clogged, because that one was super clogged. I said, I bet you, and I seen another guy show this in one of his videos. He goes, if you've got a really boggy chainsaw and you just can't figure it out, he goes, a lot of people never think of like taking this part and cleaning it. And it almost like, it's kind of like like in your dryer, you've got like a lint machine or a lint thing in there, and you pull it out and it's all full of lint on there. Well, this is kind of what happens with fuel over time. There's like little particles get stuck in this little screen, and it eventually does clog it. So like you get something that, it doesn't happen right away, but almost everything that I have that is starting to do that, including one of my little lawnmowers, I'm starting to think maybe it's the type of fuel, because the fuel isn't as good as it used to be. That whatever it is gumming up that part of the carb and creating this weird running thing. And I think that's also what's happened with my whippersnipper. So I got to take that one apart. So I've got all these things I got to take apart and clean up, right? So guys, when you work on stuff, like, just look at this thing. Oh my god. But anyway, yeah, I guess I'll show you some new chainsaws now.